Right, so I just thought I'd do my thoughts really about the new Horus Heresy Age of Darkness box set. In particular, this beautiful Land Raider here, which I absolutely adore. So obviously it's Land Raider Spartan, and I've been collecting for a very long time. So this is, for me, this is retro Games Workshop with obviously modern methods of doing things. So I'm going to start off with what I like about it, okay? And straight away, I mean that profile is beautiful. The length of it, I absolutely love it. Obviously, the standard Land Raider for Horus Heresy is a bit squatter, and I need to get one of those to really compare it. But I love the length of the. So honestly, I would have been happy, and I would have been perfectly fine if they'd done the new Land Raider and said this is it, they've just upscaled it and made it longer, and I wouldn't have complained. So the fact that they also have the shorter version and this longer Spartan version is absolutely beautiful. Okay, so next thing I love about it, obviously bringing in that front loading. So this is obviously an assault tank. So again, it's kind of molding the 40k design and the old Rogue Trader Land Raider together and pulling those design offices, so it just feels like a natural successor. Again, I want the new Land Raider because I'm told you can do both of those. Now, let's see what else I love about this. Okay, so other positives. Quad laser cannons on both sides. I mean, that is just completely OP. That thing is gonna potentially rip a knight's leg off, isn't it, in a single round, potentially. I mean, I'll have to double check my rules, but that is pretty decent for me. Again, I'm more of a modeler than a gamer, so anyway. The interior detailing as well is nice. So I do like those interior details at the same time. Oh, one of the guns has popped off because we're waving it around. Now, obviously, what I've done is the way that I've put this together is I can actually pull this apart, so you can watch the video about that and watch how you pull it apart. But again, you've got that interior detailing. I wish I had a bit more time with electronics, and I might even like drill key points of that anyway, to make some in the lighting. But again, it's a nice working one. Also, brings in that feeling of the Thunderhawk gunship, which I like, that kind of front drop area. Anyway, so where am I on to next? Well, obviously, love the big chunky exhausts at the back. They're very, very nice. Then, obviously, if I were to move on, the weapons at the front now. I've magnetised mine so I can pop them in and out, and that way I've got a bit more freedom. Now, obviously, I never have time for games, which is a shame. I wish I had more time to play games. I'm looking for a club nearby, but there's none. And then I've done the same with these. I had trouble magnetising the heavy weapons, unfortunately, which I'm a bit upset about because I wanted to properly magnetise the top ones, but I found that I couldn't get a magnet small enough that I could drill through and then attach it. So if that's a bad point so far, then it's more about my abilities rather than anything else. But yeah, it would have been nice if I could find a way to do that. So as I said, I think it's a very lovely, gorgeous piece of kit. I think obviously, everyone can gripe about the fact that Legion specific doors are more expensive, but I suppose that's just it, isn't it? It's if you want it to. Now, this is going to be painted up as the Imperial Fists Legion. And I'm going to do them as the 405th, which means it's going to be yellow, and then it's going to be a very, very dark blue on the offsetting colours. And obviously I'll work out how to do the individual tracks and things like that, what colours I want them. But as I said, I think there's just so many things to love about this kit. And as I said, most people would say, well, come on, critique it, be critical of something. But maybe it's just me going completely nostalgic, and I'm going how much I completely love this. Now, obviously, moving on from there, the Age of Darkness box set, you know, it has some very nice models in it. Now, obviously, again, going back retro, you know, it's got some Beaky Marines. Just pop one up here. It probably just did a weird moment then. You know, got some lovely Beaky Marines. Now, I was curious about something, about how tall these guys were, so how scaled up they were. Oddly enough, I put them next to a Grey Knight from the Hex Fire box set. Now, the Hex Fire doesn't feel that long ago. Maybe it's longer than I thought it was. But the Grey Knights of that feel really small by comparison. So I like the way that this guy's been scaled up, and he feels taller, and he feels like, you know, chunkier, like a Space Marine should. That's the blue, the dark blue that I plan on doing. As you can see, it's actually very light at the front and almost white, fading backwards, yeah, with lots of offset yellow. So I need to fix that gun up. I don't like that. I like the gun when I did it, but then I've realised it should also have that blue on it, so that's going to be a minor change. But again, you get these Beaky Marines, and they're absolutely gorgeous, the Mark 6. So I really love them, and I really love the way that, particularly this one, sort of advancing forward, so he looks really good. Now, what else do you get in the box? So obviously, you get your, you know, your Cataphracti. I like these guys. I think I prefer the other type of Terminator armor though. Not the Aquila version, not the 40k version. Is it the Taurus or Tartarus or something? I'm gonna have to double check what that is. So I think that's just a personal opinion that the other type of Terminator is my favourite. Looking at it, you know, though, I think these Terminators do make great Imperial fists, because they've got the kind of aesthetic of the tassels, leather tassels coming down, so very ultramarine, you know, very Sons of Horus as well, because you can imagine the Sons of Horus quite happily they were doing that. However, for things like the Night Lords, which is one of my key legions that I collect, so I've got my Imperial fists that are coming along, and they're going to be fighting the Night Lords. Then obviously they're going to be these just don't really match the feeling, so I might have to do quite a bit of work to get them where I want to be. So moving on from there, what else do you get? Well, you do get quite a few. You get 40, I think, in all, actual Mark 6 Marines. Now, because I'm going for Imperial Fist versus Night Lords, I really needed to actually change some of them so they looked, you know, a bit darker, a bit more menacing. So what I did was, here's one of the things: kit bashing and converting on these miniatures is good. Okay, so I personally find that a lot of the newer Warhammer stuff, the newer 40k stuff, it's not really optimized for kit bashing and changing things around. So it was nice that I actually found that these are quite amenable to kit bashing. So you can see there on that guy as well, he's got Night Lord, you know. And then, so yeah, I do feel that this kit was aimed at more people like myself rather than the newer players. I definitely feel like there was an attempt to draw us back and draw us in. On top of that, obviously, you've got things like this fantastic, and I love this, the Dreadnought. Okay. Now, I've done videos about this guy, about how I've been building him up and what I've been doing with him, but just to give you an idea, there he is. Now, I'm building his base up at the moment to make him look like he's standing on a ripped out Land Raider weapon. And then, the good thing about this, one thing that I really find that I like about this, is how easy the leg repositioning is on it. So I've seen a lot of people reposition the legs on these, and the great thing is they're very flexible. They can move forward and backwards. I have just gone for a very simple leg upwards. Okay, so that's how easy I've found that to do. Now, great thing is as well about these is they are so easy to magnetize the weapons. I only had to slightly increase that hole and slightly increase that, didn't even need to do anything. I just needed to slot a couple of magnets in that side and they all fit nice and snug. So all I need to do is I've got every single weapon load out magnetized. All I need to do is obviously just swap his arm around whenever I need. Yeah, so that's it. I can just swap the weapons around, and I'm really pleased about that. And as I said, he's got his Havoc launcher. Is there a bad point about this? Well, that is open to debate. He doesn't look quite as ornate as the previous one. So the previous Contemptor Dreadnought that came in had like a little bit of ornament on the underside of a few things, just to add something to them. So I think obviously that was Ultramarines versus Word Bearers, I think that box was, and it was all about the kind of assault on Ultramar and the sudden ruin storm appearance. So yeah, as I said, so whether or not this one is better for the Imperial Fists and Sons of Horus, well, yeah, I suppose, and he's going to be an Imperial Fist. I don't think I'm going to really change or put any more innate details in. I'm happy with him how he is. I've changed the legs around, given him a decorative base. He's going to be obviously standing on a ripped off Sons of Horus Land Raider weapon. That's it really. I suppose the other thing that I like is the Praetors that you get with him. They're very nice. This one's in pieces at the moment. It had quite a few pieces taken off him, but that's because he's going to be my Night Lord. So he's going to be in charge of my Night Lords, and what I've decided for him is he's actually going to kind of be the master of sins. So he basically takes all of the Night Lords who have been branded with the red gauntlets, the red hands, which is what I'm going for. It's the story I'm trying to tell of basically the Night Lords who are, cast off from the Legion. So I'm going to convert him up and he's going to become my specialised Master of Sins, I'm going to call him. I'd love that position to become official in the Night Lords, because I think it would be a really great little position for someone to have. You get like all the Night Lords who've basically been sentenced to death, thrown into a specialised company where they're just cannon fodder. Anyway, so I absolutely love my Horus Heresy Age of Darkness box. I'm very nostalgic for it now. There's a couple of minor quibbles here and there about some of the things, but you know what? I think overall the aesthetic I really love. Value for money wise, I think it was all right. I think it was pretty good. I think obviously considering what you can get for, like, say, in a Warhammer 40k box now, I feel like you barely get much more than, you barely feel you get much more than like a single company, not even a company, a couple of squads sometimes in those, and they're quite. So I think for this, I'm really, really pleased about the price point in the UK, particularly for what you get. You get a Land Raider, you get 10 Terminators, 40 Legionnaires, you get a Contemptor Dreadnought and 2 Praetors. So I can't really complain about the price for what you get. Okay, and basically that's my sort of review of those models. Now I'm going to keep on doing a few bits of work to my Land Raider. I do want to make some tweaks on that, make it a bit more interesting, but I'm not going to go over the top. And I have got a Sakaran. You can see a video about how I've done a few alterations to that. And now I'm getting really into my model making. Hopefully in the future I'll always be able to give you a video of any ideas I've had. Thank you very much for watching, and please like and subscribe.